Good morning, class. How's everybody doing? Got Professor Michael, Professor Wags. He specializes in astronomy.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about video.
One specific planet in general.
Yeah, he's an expert on one planet in the solar system. But yeah, so thanks everybody for joining. On the constant suggestion of KT at Slow Momentum, I renamed this live stream from Tech Talk Tuesday because he kept calling it Tech Talk University or something like that. I can't remember what he kept calling it. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. It's funny.
Yeah.
So let's do it. So hence the new name going forward until I think of something else that's funnier. And so here we are, guys. So again, thanks, Dustin, for joining us. Professor Drew will not be on because he went back to work today, even though you can't really tell because he's in the chat over there like crazy, reliving moments from Animal House. Great movie, by the way. So before we get too far into this and get really talking about everything, I just want to say hello to everybody. I can't really follow the chat too closely because it's kind of hard for me to see it right now, but I know there's 14 people here and I appreciate that. And since we are a university now, official, unaccredited university, everybody here is getting a year's tuition for free. Who's on the live stream today? If you share this out, you'll get 2 years of free tuition.
It's a good deal.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal. We are fully accredited by some accrediting agency that nobody's ever heard of, and you know, and to make it look official, you can't really see it, but this is an official college diploma behind me. It's Shelley's, but it's still a college diploma.
Yeah, it counts.
It counts. Yeah. See, hers gets in the frame. My college diplomas are in the tube still. They come in the mail in the tube.
I don't even know where mine are at, to be honest with you. They're somewhere probably in storage somewhere.
Yeah, mine are in a tube somewhere. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Bob's Adventure. Yeah, with Bob's college accreditation system. Yep, that's exactly who we're accredited by. But like any good school, we've got to have, you know, programs, right? And one of those programs, we got to recognize our outstanding students. So the first thing I want to do, because I already saw him pop in here, is recognize April's Student of the Month.
Oh, there you go.
And April's Student of the Month is, hang on a second.
Can we do a drum roll?
Yeah, do a drum roll. Hang on, there we go.
Hey,
there it is. The faculty of Tech Talk University certified that Gary Hartline is the April Student of the Month. Congratulations. Golf clap, everybody.
There can only be one first.
There can only be one first. So congratulations.
I did hear from a reputable source that if you ain't first, you're last.
And if you're second, that's just the first loser.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby Inc. Trademark.
That's right. That's right. So, so no, Daydream says first Dean's list. No, you didn't make the Dean's list. You were just Student of the Month. That means you kissed up to the faculty for better than all the other students this month. We haven't handed out any grades yet. We don't want to go there just yet. Because some of y'all might be on academic probation.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining, everybody. Congratulations, Gary. I'm actually going to get that out into the email to you in the emails to you, Gary. So you'll have this certificate so you can print it out and frame it and display it proudly amongst all your other achievements. Posh Cats Camping. There's somebody I haven't seen in a long time. Hello, hello, hello from this side of the pond.
Yeah.
But so today we're going to talk about some cool topics that really been flowing along with what we've had the last few weeks. Professor Drew's not hit with us because he's at work, even like I said earlier, even though he's in the chat, but he can't be on the screen with us. So we're going to be, we've done some channel reviews. If you missed those, it was just 2 weeks ago. Go back and look at them, and because the lessons that we gave on those specific channels apply to everybody, and most of us probably had the same mistakes or some of the same suggestions we could take into consideration. So go back and take a look at that from 2 weeks ago. Last week we talked about search engine optimization, which is another big one. So you got to have your channel looking right. You got to have your keywords and you, for your videos, and your channel's looking right with the getting your search engine stuff. But really, what it boils down to is, do you have a video that's worth the crap?
Exactly.
And how do you put together a video that's worth the crap? I'm still trying to figure that out. This guy has got it figured out pretty darn good. So I'm going to shut up and let him talk.
It's pretty decent.
So what is this B-roll thing I keep talking about? Is it like a B movie?
Yeah, kind of like that. So you want to talk about B-roll, or you want to talk about all the content of a video, or you want to talk about branding?
Let's start with a good structure of video, of a good of a YouTube video. How long should it be?
All right.
Roughly, how, in your opinion?
Well, it depends. If you are, the video needs to be as long as the video needs to be to relay all the information or the entertainment and not get boring. So that might be 5 minutes. That might be 25 minutes. Now, if you are just starting out, I wouldn't recommend making super long videos just yet. I would probably try to keep them on the short side, 8 to 10, maybe up to 15 minutes. And it's not anything against your channel or to say that your content is not good, but people are biased, and it's just the way it is. I mean, if someone comes and looks at your channel and you have 200 subscribers and you have a video that's 35 minutes long, they're probably not going to watch it, or they might watch the first couple minutes of it to see if it's going to be any good, and then they'll probably leave. And even if they do stay and watch some of it, the chances of them watching all of it are slim, which is going to kill your stats. It's going to kill your click-through rate. It's going to kill your watch time percentage on that video. And if those stats aren't good, then YouTube won't suggest that video to other viewers. And that's really how you grow, is get your video suggested on other channels to like-minded viewers.
And that's on the right. When he's talking about suggested videos, this when you're watching a video and you look on the right-hand side, if you're looking at it on your computer, you'll see it says suggested videos, and that's where you want to be. That's really where you want to be. And I know there's a pretty popular YouTube channel that has made a living somehow of taking 5 minutes worth of content and spreading it out over 30 minutes, because they literally repeat everything. They've got 5 minutes worth of content and they'll just kind of repeat it about 6 times. But it's working for them because they've got 30,000 subscribers or something.
It certainly does work for some. But it's all, a lot of that is tone. A lot of that is delivery. If you can say the same thing 5 times over again and make it sound interesting and keep people's attention, hey, rock on, man.
Yep.
So some people have that. Some people have that radio voice, or they have that perky personality that's just going to grab people's attention, and no matter what they say, it's going to be interesting. But most are not going to fall into that category, so we have to get creative.
I think you're getting kind of choppy there, Dustin.
Am I?
A little bit, not too bad. Yeah, and I'll say this for the record, because I've already outed Dustin as the person who trashed my channel earlier. Per my request, and it was all true and good feedback. But one of the videos we had there, he basically said, this entire video is nothing but B-roll. And he was 100% right. So, and B-roll is good. You got to, a good video will have some B-roll in it, But when I say B-roll, what is it, and what's a good, ratio or quantity? How do you use B-roll? I guess is a better way to put it.
Well, the first thing I do is when we're out somewhere exploring, and I know that I'm going to be shooting, the first tip I have is to shoot very specifically. Shoot only things that you are probably going to put in your video. That's going to save you a ton of time editing. Because if you go out there to a place and you visit a museum, let's say for 2 hours, and you video the whole 2 hours, it's going to take you forever to get through those 2 hours to find the good stuff to put in your video. So find the cool stuff, shoot that really cool stuff at really cool angles, and then it's easier to pick through what you're going to do. So I will say when the video fades in or pops up, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you are catching their attention somehow, some way. And usually that's like, saying really quickly what you're going to talk about very enthusiastically, and make it sound exciting. Some people do short intro clip videos, and I will say that they are those are successful with grabbing people's attention if they're done right. You want to do an intro clip for maybe 7 to 10 seconds at max. You don't want a long, big 30-second, 45-second intro because people will have like it'll show like little clips from their adventures or whatever, and then their logo will spin in or smash into the ground or whatever, which is all cool. But if that thing lasts 30 to 45 seconds and they've seen it before, it's on every video, there's no way. It's not like Netflix where you can skip the intro. On YouTube, you can't just skip the intro, so they might skip ahead and miss something, or maybe they'll just click off and leave. So I would say if you're going to do a really intro, like an intro sting, I would say keep it pretty short, with just like a little bit of music, a couple little clips, your logo, boom, and then get back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, and if somebody skips, just to kind of go off topic just a little bit, if somebody skips through your video, they skip from the 5-second mark to the 45-second mark to get around your way too long intro, you don't get credit for that watch time, right?
Right. They have to watch the first.
Which means that also hurts your retention on the video if they even stay.
Yeah, you only get a watch if someone watches the first 30 seconds of your video. If they don't watch the first 30 seconds of your video, it doesn't count for anything. It doesn't. The good thing is it doesn't count as a click off either until it's 30 seconds in, but it doesn't count as a view either. So you want them to stick around for at least the first 30 seconds, but you want to stick around for longer than that because the closer to the 30-second mark that they click off, the more that it will hurt your analytics and hurt your click off rate. I hope all this is making sense to the folks in the room because we're using a lot of technical terms, but if you've done a little bit of research on how to upload videos and stuff, hopefully some of this jargon. If not, go back and Google it and watch some of the YouTube videos of people who actually talk 100% just about that all the time, and they'll be able to steer you in the right directions for the terminology. So then, yeah, catch their attention at the beginning, and then it can be like with what we're going to talk about, or it can be something funny, or it can be like a funny clip real quick at the beginning of what you're going to talk about, but it has to catch their attention, it has to get them to stay engaged. And I've said this before, the average adult attention span is something like 4 to 6 seconds, literally. So you have to re-grab their attention every few seconds. So you either have to do that by tone, or you have to do that by changing subject, or you have to do that by transitioning. And so that's where you get into transitioning and the ratio between footage, vlogging, talking, and B-roll. So we try to keep ours about, if we're out, traveling and adventuring and things like that, we try to keep it about 25% B-roll, but it's not jammed into one part of the video. It's not going to be all B-roll at the first part of it. It's not going to be like 3 minutes straight of B-roll. We're going to talk a little bit about one thing, and then we're going to B-roll a little bit, and then we're going to talk some more, and then we're going to B-roll a little bit, because just those transitions just keep people engaged.
Yeah, and it's not just the transitions too. It's doing something on the screen to grab somebody's attention, even throwing up a graphic like right here or over here.
Exactly.
I mean, just something as quickly as that. I mean, throwing up if you're talking about, I was just showing Dustin my drone. If you're just talking about a drone and you're just droning on about a drone, throw up something over here that's got like some stats on the drone or maybe a picture of the drone. Just something to break it up and grab somebody, get the eyes to move. That's the point. You want to get the eyes to move.
Exactly. And you'll notice in our videos, sometimes when we're just sitting, like toward the end of a video, we're talking about some of the stuff that we went and saw and did. While we're talking, we'll throw up a picture or we'll throw up a clip in the background with the audio killed, so you can still hear us talking and you'll see what we're talking about. That way it doesn't leave, I mean, you want to leave a little bit to the imagination, but I mean, they're coming on to see what you're talking about. They don't want to have to imagine what it's like. They want to see it. So show them.
And along those same lines, you got to be careful to not fall into the PBS documentary style of shooting a video. And just to use a museum as an example, a lot of people go to a museum or some type of attraction, and that's exactly what they do. It is a step-by-step documentary of visiting this place as if you're there yourself. And while that's cool and you'll get 5 people to watch it, you'll get 5 people to watch it. Do you really want to put that much work into the 5 people? You got to make it fun, make it interesting. Think about what you like to watch and what triggers you.
So you really have to think about what you would want as a viewer when you are creating and editing. And what I want as a viewer is I want to feel like I'm with that person wherever they are. I want to feel like I'm part of the adventure. So when you're speaking to the camera, talk to like you're talking to one of your viewers, like they're there with you. Engage with them. One of the biggest mistakes that I see that people make is they'll just run like a slideshow, and they'll talk in the background, or they'll talk for a little bit and then they'll run a slideshow with still images at the end of the video, and it'll be just like, and then it'll be like B-roll music in the background with a slideshow. Well, I didn't come to YouTube to watch a slideshow. If I wanted to see your pictures, I'd go to Facebook. I came to YouTube to watch video. So shoot video for your videos.
And make sure you shoot videos in the proper format if you're using your phone. In other words, your phone should be like this, not like this.
Exactly. Because you get those big black edges, man. And it's not cool. And a lot of phones, well, a lot of them do now, but some phones don't have great stabilization. So it's pretty shaky.
Yeah, and Drew brought that up too. And I saw that, I was able to read that in the chat about stabilization. If you need to hold the camera still, whether you have a gimbal or you have a camera with image stabilization, or you set the camera down on a table, it needs to be still, because if you're doing this with the camera, I mean, it doesn't matter how interesting this stuff is. People are going to stop watching.
Yeah. Now it doesn't. I will say this: it can be done with very low budget. I mean, you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive stuff. You can get a decent camera for a couple $100, and a lot of those cameras already have great built-in audio, great built-in stabilization, great built-in low light for you're shooting late in the afternoon and the evening. So it doesn't have to break the bank. So when we were telling you all this, don't think, well, now I got to go buy a $900 camera for stabilization. That's not true. The content is more important than the shakiness, but the shakiness is important if it gets to a certain point. Now, a little bit of shake is not a big deal. Nobody expects you to be like a professional movie maker. Right. Well, some channels look like professional movie makers, but nobody's really expecting you to that. They really want to connect with you, and they want to know you. They want to get to know you better. Really, I mean, you can have great B-roll, and you can have the best camera and the best audio. But if you get on there and start vlogging like you're reading a script, I'm out.
Yeah, you can't just go like you're reading this because you wrote it down before the video, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's
That's
not.
not no. That doesn't flow.
Yeah,
Unless you've got some of those, those golden statues on your shelf from, acting awards, just be you.
yeah. And I don't have those, so
Yeah.
we have to rely on our personalities, unfortunately. So, but what I will do is we don't ever script on our channel, and I know that you guys don't either.
No,
But what I do have,
this is my
I
wife's
have
fault.
I have a $2.99 whiteboard that I got from the Dollar General, with a dry erase marker, and I'll put on the other side of the camera where no one can see it, I'll put some talking points or some bullets, just so I don't miss something that I really wanted to talk about. Because when we first started, I didn't have that, and you have the same type of medical conditions that I do. So that I would shoot the video, and then I go back and like, dang, I forgot to talk about the one thing I wanted to talk about. So I do have a whiteboard. We do have things that will keep me on track, but it's in no way scripted at all.
Yeah, I've shot many videos and completely didn't cover the main topic that I wanted to shoot the video for. Didn't realize it until later. Until after I left wherever it was the only place in the world I could shoot that video on that topic. And I'm now 300 miles away. I'm like, and looking at the footage, I'm like,
oh yeah, there's nothing you can do about it now. You're gone.
That's right. I've got some videos. I got at the 90% done editing stage because I don't have the other 10%. I've got to go back to Florida or Mississippi or whatever and film it.
We have gone back to places, like if we were still pretty local.
Yeah,
we've gone back. Yeah. We got to go back to the park or go back to the whatever, and we gotta film this other part because I just totally missed it, and it's key to the video. So that's part of the nature of the beast. I
filmed it in time lapse, or I filmed it in time lapse mode on my GoPro, not realizing it.
Yeah, so you're like,
done that.
That's always a good time. Now I will say that, look, this is my personal opinion, and all this really is my personal opinion and your personal opinion. So. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want your style to be showing a slideshow, then cool. My opinion is you're not going to grow that way. You may grow, a couple of subscribers here and there, but you're not going to grow the way you want to grow. And everybody wants to grow, at least at a decent rate. So I'll say, look, you have to, if you want to be a YouTuber, part of YouTubing is vlogging, and vlogging in public, because you can't just sit in your RV and talk about where you went and then show a bunch of B-roll of it. People want you to see you talking on location. They want to see you engaged. They want to see what's going on in the background while you were there. They want to see what emotions you were feeling while you were seeing those things. All that stuff is part of them feeling like they know you. And if people feel like they know you and they like you, they'll stick around and they'll keep watching your stuff and they'll become part of your community.
Yep. We got a question from one of the students. I don't think we skipped past explaining what B-roll actually means. What does that term mean? So you want to share with the class what B-roll is?
Sure. So if you see like very specific shots of like backgrounds and like water fountains and gardens and flowers or whatever. So for example, when we were at I'll say, for example, we went to the World War I museum in Kansas City. So you go through there and you film different angles of different things, different lighting, different things, and then you'll put transitions with that, and then you'll put music behind it. So there's no talking during that. It's just it's kind of like just a musical sequence with some shots behind it, and it just kind of gets you feeling like you were there. It gets you seeing the sights,
right?
And then hearing some of the, but it gets tricky because you have to put the right music with the right kind of images. And like I said before, specifically shoot what you want to show. So shoot from this angle going this way, shoot from this angle going this way, shoot angles going down to up, up to down. So the light hits it different ways. I like when the light like peeks through the, the tree. If you're rotating one way and then the light kind of trickles through different things. And then also you can, if your software will allow it, your editing software, I also like to speed things up or slow things down in a slow mode just to make it feel like it's moving. Like if you were there, you could see those water drops hitting things or the fire coming out of the fountain or whatever it is. I mean, just there's a bunch of different ways to make it look way cooler than what it actually is.
Yeah, exactly. And really you can think of B-roll too as transitions between talking. And those transitions could be 5 seconds or they could be a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But so that's the B-roll. The key is it's not your face or anybody else's face.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, just that you just mentioned speeding up or slowing down the video. If you speed up or slow down the video, you may want to consider removing the audio track that's on that. Also, I've seen a lot of people that sped up or slowed down their a segment of their YouTube video, but they left the audio on there. And we're not taking calls right now, folks. Sorry. So just stand by. So it just, especially if it lasts for a long time, because I just shot a video today where I sped up some of the footage and I purposely left the audio track in because it felt like it flowed with what I was doing, because I was doing something with my hands and talking about it. And so I think it flowed with it. I haven't actually played it back to see how bad it sounds or looks. Yeah. But that's the key. Make sure the sound is, good.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people will try to get their audio just perfectly matched up with their B-roll or their shots or whatever. I kind of do mine backwards from that, and I'll explain why. It saves a ton of time. So what I'll do is I'll take all the shots that I want to put in as B-roll, and I will give you this as a tip. When you're doing B-roll, you want a transition every 4 to 6 seconds in your B-roll, because if you stay on the same thing, no one wants to just watch the same fountain go for 30 seconds. They want to see the next thing. I want to see what else was there. So 4 to 6 seconds. If it's something really interesting, you can go a little longer, up to maybe 10 seconds max, and then transition to something else. So what I'll do is I'll take those specific shots. I'll find whichever angle I want that look the best for showing that thing, and I'll put that in there for the duration that I want it in there, and then I'll stack all my B-roll clips together, and then I'll find out the duration of the whole thing. So the whole duration, let's say, is 36 seconds of B-roll. So then I will go on to Epidemic Sound, and Epidemic Sound is the music that I use. I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound. It's royalty-free music that you can use as background music on YouTube. It won't get any copyright hits. It costs like $15 a month, but it's well worth it because you're going to have a different sound than everybody else on YouTube, because everybody else on YouTube that's using free YouTube music are all using the same music. Mm-hmm. So anyway, if my B-roll is 36 seconds, I will go find a clip in Epidemic Sound that is somewhere between 35 and 45 seconds so that it will fit my B-roll. I don't fit my B-roll to my music. I fit my music to my B-roll. That makes sense?
Yeah, and that's the way we do it too, because you can always stretch out your B-roll a little bit or shorten it a little bit to actually match the segment. Misty Pruitt had a question. Misty, I think we answered this in the beginning, but I'll just say real quick, how long or short should the video be to keep your audience attention? And the answer to that is however long the video takes to get the message across you want to be. So it could be a 30-second video or it could be a 30-minute video. But the key is, how long does it take you to get the message out properly? Don't shoot for a time. At least that's for my recommendation. Don't shoot to have your video be a certain length. Shoot for your video to be a certain quality. and then let the length be. And if the length, I mean, look, I mean, everybody's been talking about, and thank you for those who have been talking about and sharing about the interview we did with the folks at Combat Cafe. We shot that interview, and then when we got done, because we actually did about a 2-hour pre-interview before we started rolling the camera. So we were there for like 4 hours filming. So by the time we got back to the RV and I put it in Filmora and saw how long all this stuff was, it's like it was an hour and a half. I'm like, oh my God, it's an hour and a half. I cannot put up an hour and a half video. Well, you can put up an hour and a half video, but you got to chop it up.
Yeah.
But then you got to make sure your first part is good enough to get people to want to come watch the second part, and so on and so forth. Because if your first part's crap, nobody's going to watch the second part, and so on down the line. So looking at my numbers, my stats are about the same for part 1 and part 2. So I did a pretty good job on at least keeping the quality level the same. And of course, a lot of people in the community have been sharing it out, and I'm very grateful for that. And hopefully it's driving traffic to Combat Cafe. I don't really care about driving traffic to me, but driving traffic to them so people can go buy some good food and keep that business open. But anyway, I digress.
And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to drag your video just to create watch time. So if you have a video on, let's say you're doing black tanks, don't drag it out with useless information. Or if you're doing a black tank thing, you don't need B-roll has no place in a how-to video. I mean, you're just telling them how to do some stuff, and that's it. I mean, when you're out doing travels and adventures, that's when you want your B-roll. That's when you want to tell your story. That's when you want it to look more theatrical, because you want those people to be engaged in that. But if you're doing a how-to video, don't fill it with a bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything, or try to talk slower to make the video longer. It's just going to create those lags and give people opportunities to go away and click off of your video. And they'll go find someone else that's going to show the same information in 2 minutes shorter.
Yep, and think you guys probably do the same thing I do. If I have a problem, like my black tank's clogged, okay, I'm going to go look on YouTube to figure out how to unclog it. I'm going to look at once I put in my search and there's the results. What's the shortest video?
Yeah, because I want to go unclog my stuff.
Right. I'm not going to watch the 2-minute video that says quick, easy way to unclog your black tank, or the 35-minute, docudrama of a black tank, being clogged. I mean, think about it. You're going to want to watch the quick one. So make it match. The time should match the content, and don't ever try to just throw filler in just so you can meet a certain time goal. Because if your goal is 10 minutes, like I saw somebody just said about they aim for 10 minutes and they'll go longer or shorter depending on what happens. But if you're stuck on 10 minutes and all your videos have to be 10 minutes and you've got 5 minutes worth of content, you're probably only going to be getting about 3 minutes worth of watch time, because you have 5 minutes of content and 5 minutes of filler. You're probably only going to get 3 minutes of watch time out of that completely. So your video watch time is not going to be that great.
And you'll notice, I mean, I would say, have a variety, and you can get away with a little bit longer videos once you grow into a bigger channel. You get your bigger audience. You have people that are going to watch your stuff front to back, no matter what you put out. So you can get away with a little bit longer videos as you grow a little bit bigger. But if you look on our channel, we have videos that are 2 or 3 minutes long, and we have videos that are 28, 29 minutes long. It just all depends on what we want to show. And then, for example, we had when we were in San Antonio, we had so much footage. It was crazy. So if you get into that situation, so I was editing and I was like the 25-minute mark, and I was like halfway through. So I just cut it and I made a second video, because I'm not going to put up a 50-minute video about San Antonio, because then they're going to watch maybe the first half and then click off. So they're going to miss the whole. So I cut it into 2. So now they get to watch the second half. What would have been the second half, which is now a new video of stuff that they would not have seen because they would have been clicked off a long time ago.
Yeah, that's good. Got another question from the class. From here you go. From our student of the month. Is it a good to timestamp a live stream video to feature certain topics? If so, how do you timestamp a title? I'll be honest, just from my personal opinion, I think if you timestamp a video, you're inviting people to skip parts of your video, and so you lose watch time and retention. That's my thought. I've never done it, so I don't know.
We've only timestamped on a couple of different videos, and so that was I think there was a video where we were talking about several different RV products, and so we timestamped so that if people already, a lot of this stuff people already have or they don't want to know about, so they can click to whatever they are interested in. I'd rather have them click to what they want to watch as opposed to clicking away completely after they see a couple items. Go, I have all this stuff, I'm out of here. But if they look in the description, then they can see the timestamps of the different stuff. But if you do timestamps, I'll say this: if you do timestamps, say right up front at the beginning of your video, there are timestamps in this video. If you want to move to a different product, move to a different product, because people aren't just going to go in the description and look for it. They're just going to click off. So disclose that information right out the gate.
In the video, not in your description.
In the video, yes.
Because most people never look at a description. Guilty. Next question is, can I add something to a published video to the front or to the back or the middle? I don't know. I mean, I know you can edit videos in YouTube Studio, but I've never done it before. Do you know, Dustin?
I've never attempted that one, so I'm not sure. Other than end cards, that's the only thing I've really.
I did try to attempt it once. I did try to cut out a segment of it at the end of a video that I'd already published, and it would not let me do it. The only thing it would let me do is I could blur. It said I could cut, but I never could figure out how to get the cut function to work. So maybe it's just user error. So unfortunately, Senior Sister, the answer to your question is maybe.
I would say this. So this is what I do. After I get done editing my video completely, I go back and I watch the complete video to make sure it's what I want before it's published. Now, that's not to say that you're going to not publish it and go back and go, man, I really wish I would have added this later. But as a general rule of thumb, because even in I use Wondershare, and sometimes there's a glitch in there, or like a little jump cut that I missed. It'll have a little clip of video in there that it somehow didn't get deleted out of there, or the music is too loud in a certain part, or the transition didn't work the way I wanted it to when I was editing. So I'll go back and I'll watch the whole video again before I publish it.
Yeah. That's good. We got some good questions here from the crowd. Got 25 students still paying attention in class, so that's a good thing. There will be a test at the end. But so one of the things too about, we've talked about B-roll, we've talked about the intro, but really when you want to talk about audience retention and things like that, really what's important is you get them to the end or near the end of your video. You got to be really careful that you don't end your video before the clip ends. And what I mean by that is you start wrapping up and saying your goodbyes, and you still got 30 plus seconds left of your video. Because as soon as you start wrapping up, as soon as you start saying, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I would do is if you are going to do a call to action, for those who don't know, a call to action is where you ask people to like your video, subscribe to your video, share it, comment in your video. That's a call to action. You're asking your audience to do something with your video. If you're going to do that, I'm not big on that. We don't do that. It just feels weird for me to do, so we don't do it. But I would say do that early in your video, because if you are 10, 12, even if it's in the middle of your video and you start talking about, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, they think you're wrapping up.
Yeah.
They think you're getting ready to be gone. So if you have more video, like Michael said, they're clicking off. So if you do your call to action at the beginning, then they really don't know when you're going to wrap up.
Yeah. And if you're going to do it at the end, do it fast and do it at the end.
Yeah.
So like, subscribe, share, comment, buy, just like that. I mean, just get it done.
Yeah, or use it in a graphic. A lot of people use it in a graphic. They don't really say it every time. They just say, "All right, we're out of here. Hope to see you next time." Boom, and then you see the graphic of like, subscribe, share, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't remember what we do. We used to have the graphic, and I used to say it. I always forget to say it, so that's why we put it in the graphic. Again, so senior sisters, I have deleted pieces all through videos, but never can figure out how to add in YouTube. I have never ever used YouTube Studio Editor. Like I said, I tried to use it one time, so I honestly can't help you. I will say this about anything, like I've always said, there are tons of YouTube videos about how to do whatever it is you want to do with your channel. You know, and so they are. Weekend RVing, you are late. You will not get credit for being in the class unless you write a 100-page report summarizing this class, double spaced. So I'm just kidding. So yeah, so as far as using YouTube Studio to edit videos, I don't know. I honestly don't know anybody who does it. I know some people do just to edit on their phone as well. I don't do that either, so I can't help you there. But I know there's tons of YouTube videos that literally will walk you step by step on how to do that, if it's even possible.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I got a couple other tips about content. We already talked a little bit about it, but don't just sit and talk in front of your audience unless it's just that kind of video. You know, our video last week was talking about, you know, reasons why you should not full-time RV. There's a bunch of reasons why it may not be for you, and there's no need for any B-roll in that. We were just sitting down sharing our opinion of that, and it took however long it took, 10, 12 minutes or whatever it was, and we were out, and that was it. Now, I will say the like I said earlier, the bigger your channel is and the more subscribers and loyal followers you have, the more you can get away with just sitting and talking. But if you do that, I definitely wouldn't do it like consecutive weeks or consecutive videos. I would have, you know, you want to have a variety of stuff. You don't want to be 4 or 5 episodes in a row just sitting there talking, because people go, man, if they're just going to sit there and talk, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and remember, a key thing that Dustin keeps saying over again, bigger channels can get away with X. You know, you're trying to get people to watch your stuff, and nobody knows who you are. The biggest channel in this chat right now is right next to me on the screen, by far, and he's still a small channel in the YouTube scheme of things. He hasn't quite hit the 1 million subscriber mark yet. He's on the edge, but he hasn't quite got there yet. So, you know, how KYD or You Mean the RV, how they do their videos and what they do in their videos works because they've built up a brand, they've built up loyalty, and people know, well, if this one's a dud, the next one probably won't be. So they have that. None of us have that, except Dustin has it to some degree. So none of us have that. So we had to put our A game out all the time.
Yeah, and I'll say that, you know, another thing that successful channels do is they don't put out a video just to put out a video.
Right.
Just because it's time to put out a video. I mean, I would rather skip a week and not put anything out than put out junk. I mean, skipping a week's gonna hurt you a little bit, but if you put out junk, it's gonna hurt you worse.
Yeah, I think if you're one of those people who say we post a video every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you don't have a video, just throw something up saying we weren't able to do a video this week, sorry, or just do nothing, you know, but don't just throw up junk.
Well, here's a tip on that too, and this is what we do. On our banner, it says new video every week. That's all it says.
That's what ours says too.
So if you paint yourself into a corner, if you say we put out new videos every Sunday and Tuesday, and then Tuesday rolls around and the video don't come out, now you're a liar. But if you say I put out new videos every week and you put out one this week on a Wednesday and you can't get one till next Friday, you're not a liar. You put one out every week and you give yourself that wiggle room. I mean, we put one out every Sunday at 10 a.m. like clockwork, but I don't put that on my banner because if I miss it, if I have unreliable internet, or if I can't get it up, or if I don't have anything good enough to go up, I might pop on, to do a live that week, or I might, put something up that I didn't plan on putting up some other time during the week. But as long as I get it up sometime during the week, I didn't lie to anybody.
Right, exactly. And we do the same thing. So you got to be real careful what you advertise out, because to give yourself wiggle room. If you say you do a live stream at this time and this time every single week, and you really do a live stream this one time, and you maybe do it sometimes this other time, don't put it up there. Just say, like Dustin just said, and a lot of people say, we do this weekly. Because first of all, I look at people's pages. If I go to somebody's channel and I honestly don't follow anybody closely enough to where, they're putting out, I know they put out videos at 10 o'clock on Sunday. So I'm sitting in front of my computer waiting for 10 a.m. to drop for me to watch the video. I don't do that with anybody. I get the notification from them. It says new video dropped. Now, whether that new video came at 10 o'clock on Sunday or 4 o'clock on Monday, I get the notification, hey, Wayward Wags has a new video. I go watch it. And I'm comment that I'm glad he didn't die. And we watch the next one. And if you didn't see that, we're all thankful that he didn't die. But I swear I didn't think that tree was going to be standing. I did not think that tree was going to be standing the next day.
I didn't either. It was the death tree.
Yeah. So don't paint yourself in the corner, because again, for 99.9% of us, this is more of a hobby with a vague thing out here in the distance of maybe making $1 or $2. So don't let it take over your life. I do want to say hello real quick to Hazel DaCosta. I don't recognize that name, so welcome. If you've been here before, and I've said that before, I have a TBI and I can't remember stuff, and I'm not joking. That's the truth. So I apologize up front. And let's see. I think there's some other stuff. Consistency is the key. Be careful also when you talk about putting out the videos. Be careful about not only the quality of the video, but the quantity. If you're dropping a video every day, you might get lost in the shuffle. The video from day one might get a few views, but since you're throwing all those notifications out there, you might be hurting yourself for views.
Yeah,
you might not. It just depends on the content. I mean, we've dropped 2 or 3 videos in a week. I think the most we've ever done is 3 in a week. So, but it depends on the content. It also depends on the urgency. Like maybe you have something that really needs to be said right now or go out right now.
Plus, I think if you're putting out 5, 6, 7 videos a week, I don't think you have time to make it super content. I mean, it takes time to put together a video and edit a video. It doesn't take a full week to do, but I like to take my time. I like to have time to do it so that it's up to my standards.
Yeah. So Senior Sister wants to know if we do a teaching video on how to live stream. Absolutely. That'll be in a future class of that.
Cool.
I'll just throw this out real quick. 2W, they're up to $100. So they're YouTube rich. So Ace and Amanda, you weren't here at the beginning, I don't think. But I was offering free tuition to everybody. That's everybody but you guys, because you make too much money. So you're above the minimum threshold. So you don't qualify for the free tuition. So you're going to have to pay for future classes. Just kidding. Hey, and go check out 2Dub Nation's 2DN News video that they just put out a few days ago. It's awesome. The sports casting in it's probably the best you'll ever see anywhere. Just saying. I don't know who that guy is, but man, he's awesome. And by the way, all the footage of me in that video was filmed at Fort Bragg.
There you go.
So,
is that a call?
That is a call. Let's go ahead and take it. I hope it's not Drew. Hey, who's calling?
Yeah, hey, it's Drew.
I recognize the number. Aren't you at work?
What's going on, Dustin? Yeah, but
What's
I'm
up,
gonna do something real quick on the B-roll. Hi, everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
On the B-roll, you can film and then take your camera and move it real quick up or down, so you get that motion blur in there, and that's a great free transition from one scene to another.
That's a good tip.
And it doesn't cost you anything. That's a pro tip. You can film something
My
like
software has
slow motion, water dripping off a leaf or something, and then zoom up, jerk the camera up real quick, so you get that nice motion blur in there, or jerk it down real quick, but always keep that consistent. So if you're gonna always go up, always go up. If you're gonna go to the left, always move it to the left. And that's a great transition into your next scene. Anyway, thanks guys. Great live stream. You're doing good, and I wish I was up there.
Cool, man.
We almost missed you.
Right.
I love you.
Everybody.
That's Mr. Recently Monetized, Papa Drew.
Yeah, congrats to Drew.
Yeah, so his next live stream will have the little super chat button. So real quick we'll say something about that to help him. Do not super chat from an iPhone, please, because they take. Huh?
It's expensive. I mean, well, not really expensive. It's the same with whatever super chat you were going to give, but a lot of it gets lost to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube takes 30%. If you do it on an iPhone, they take Apple takes 30%. So you lose 60% right there. So
yeah,
if you're going to super chat the guy, just do it regularly, or better yet, I'm sure he's got a PayPal link. Just send it to PayPal, or buy a T-shirt. You'll actually get more money that way. Class on changing thumbnails would be great. Yeah, we talked a little bit about thumbnails a couple of weeks ago, and honestly, we could do this show for a couple of months just on thumbnails. There's just that much.
There's so much stuff, and it's actually one of my favorite topics. I love talking about thumbnails, so I'm down to talk about thumbnails anytime.
yeah, and that's actually how Drew had Dustin on his live stream a few months ago, and that's what they were talking about was thumbnails. And that's when I really learned just how crappy my young little channel was. And then I emailed Dustin and said, hey, can you take a look at my channel for me? And he confirmed the fact that I thought my little channel was crappy. But yeah, and I actually, Drew's in the middle of changing his thumbnails now. I really like the new look of the thumbnails. I'm still figuring out how to do thumbnails myself. I'm not happy with the thumbnails I have, but it's a work in progress. But
yeah,
so
we find your thing.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, you got to find your whatever. I mean, it's got to feel right for your channel. Right. I mean,
and here's the biggest thing too about your thumbnail. And we talked about this when we did channel reviews a couple of weeks ago. Your thumbnail, your logo, all this stuff that's part of your brand that shows people who you are. The biggest thing about any of that is it's got to be you. You can't just go to a YouTube logo generator page, put in your name, they spit out the logo that looks like every other logo, except maybe you change the color. Okay, that looks the same from a distance, or somebody just kind of give it a cursory glance. You want yours to stand out from everybody else. However that happens, that's how you had to make that happen. So if you see somebody's thumbnail you like or somebody's logo you like, don't copy it, but try to be inspired by it and come up with something unique, which every day that's harder and harder to do in YouTube when hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos get uploaded every second almost. So
and the RV niche is growing every day. I see new RV channels, people hitting the road and doing the YouTube thing, and it's great. And I actually thought about doing a video just talking about what people think about the RV niche on YouTube. Is it full? Are we maxed out, or do we have some vacancy?
I think we have room for one more big channel, and I'm gunning for that spot. I'm that close. I'm that close.
I think
a few thousand more subscribers, a few thousand more watch hours, I'll be there.
I think the talking about the thumbnails would be great again, because everybody likes talking about that. And like you said, there's so many details in that, and everything that we talked about today doesn't matter if no one clicks on your video, which the thumbnail will get them to do that.
Yeah, and again, I mean, a lot of people get hung up on subscriber numbers, or getting people to subscribe to them and like their stuff and all this other stuff, and all that's important. But you've got to have good stuff first. So don't worry about trying to gain subscribers if you have 2 crappy videos, because you only make a good a good first impression. You got one shot at it. So have a good video, get it out there, and stay out of the Grow Channel live streams, because they don't help. They hurt.
No, they the opposite of help.
Stay away from Tom, Tim, and Todd.
And Todd, yeah.
And their cousin, Call to iPhone, and they had another name. They started commenting on my stuff a couple of days ago. Call, Call, and I clicked on them, and they've got call to, and it's the same Tom logo, but it's inverted a little bit. Inverted.
Tom got you.
Tom went inverted. That's making me laugh. So now I've lost my train of thought now that I've gone inverted myself. But yeah, and again, folks, suggestions. This is not a roadmap to success. There are YouTube channels out there that literally have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And I went and watched, and I'd go watch one of their videos, and I'm like, how do they even have 5 subscribers? This is the most junk I've ever seen in my life. And, they've got, millions of views on every video they posted yesterday. And I don't get it. And then you've got some other channels out there that really has quality content, engaging in front of the camera, and they have a handful of views, a handful of subscribers, and you're like, why don't they? And a lot of times it boils down to one video that took off.
Yep. Exactly.
And it had nothing to do with how much money they spent on their equipment, how much time they spent editing. It was all about one video, the right topic, the right time.
Yeah. You just got to hit that one. I will say this though, if you compare yourself to other channels, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Just have fun. That's what me and Leslie did. We decided to do this and have fun with it, and support veterans and honor the fallen heroes. And I told her, it doesn't matter if we get to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. If I stop having fun, I will stop doing YouTube.
Yep, agreed. And we're the same way. So I guess the biggest question I have is for you, Dustin, is where should somebody really focus their time on when it comes to their videos? Should they worry about trying to get it edited perfectly, or should they focus on what the content is? I mean, what should they actually be worried about? New channels right off the bat.
I would say not to worry too much about the editing just yet. I mean, you can on your software, you can do some very basic transitions, and there's even filters in there. If your camera equipment is not the greatest, there are filters to make your images look sharper and better. So, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about that. You have to be interesting, man. You have to be fun. You have to be engaging. We can't really teach you that here in Tech Talk University. We can't teach you how to be fun and interesting. You got to figure that out on your own. I mean, and there are a lot of people who are great people. Give you the shirt off their back. I would do anything in the world for them. I'd hang out with them any day of the week. But for some reason, when they get in front of a camera, it's just the chemistry isn't there.
Yeah.
So I think they think it's like being in front
of a news camera, so they freeze up.
Now, I will say that at the very beginning, that's going to be everybody because it's all new to you. It's going to be very awkward at first, and you're not going to be comfortable in front of the camera. That's okay. The problem you're going to have is if you get 20, 30, 40 videos in and you're still awkward in front of the camera, man, you're going to have problems because you should be growing out of that. Your personality, your real personality should be coming through. And if you're just not getting there, I mean, YouTube's not for everybody. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Roland Ragu, again, that's another name I don't think I've seen before, so welcome. It's a running joke in his house. I put blood, sweat, and tears into mine and some cat litter, and the litter box gets more attention. Had to let go of it years ago and have fun. That's exactly right. And I've said that a million times. The less effort I put into editing the video and making sure and really editing, the less effort I put into editing it perfectly, the more views I've gotten on that video. Because what a lot of people will do is they will edit out mistakes, but mistakes are really not that big of a deal, you know. If you leave in those little quirks, that's you. That's who you are. So you're letting people see you, and a lot of times that's how people click with you. Like, oh, you know what? I do the same thing all the time too. And then once you get somebody to do that because you have a tick, or or you do something on camera that you don't think is the right way or professional, but you leave it in and somebody sees it. So, you know what? I do that all the time too. You've just hooked somebody just by being you. Just by being you. You didn't have to work for it.
Yeah, and if they don't like that part of you, if they don't like you because of that and they choose to leave, then you don't really want them as part of your community anyway. You want people who like you, who want to hang out with you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really just that easy. I don't think anybody's coming on next after me. According to the schedule, it's supposed to be traveling down the Banisters at 6 o'clock Eastern, but I went to Traveling Down the Banisters website. They're actually coming on at 7 Eastern today. So I didn't see anybody coming up. So Dustin, if you want to hang out for a minute and people got questions, let's keep rolling.
Yeah, let's see what questions people have. That's cool.
Can't go for a whole lot longer because it is Taco Tuesday.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Taco.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I get.
So while we're waiting for a question,
go ahead.
You want me to talk about something else real quick while we're doing waiting for people to ask questions? I want to talk real quick about the use of cards. If you don't know what cards are embedded links inside your video that you can put somewhere up here. They pop up and they suggest one of your other videos to the viewer.
Bob said the Banisters are on now. Let me double check because. Yeah, keep talking, Dustin, while I'm looking.
Okay. So the use
they are live. My bad.
Are they?
They are
okay.
live. They must have changed. They must realize they had the wrong time on there.
We can talk about the rest of that stuff next week if you'll have me on again.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about it next week. This is Traveling Down the Banisters. So please go over. Apparently, they are live. So thank you guys for watching. Class dismissed.
Thanks for having me, bud.